Okay, now we're going to have a look at differentiating some slightly harder polynomial questions. So we're going to start off looking at this one here. F of x equals 1 over x. Okay, so what we've got to do here is the first thing we need to do is we need to use our rules of indices to change that into one that's an x to the power of something. So hopefully you remember that something that's on the bottom just moves up to the top and it becomes a negative. So this is the same as that. F of x equals x to the power of negative 1. And once we've got that, f dash of x equals negative 1 x to the power of negative 2. All right, which equals negative x to the power of negative 2. Okay, so hopefully you see sort of how that works. Here's a slightly harder version of that question. F of x equals 3 over x squared. So the first thing we do is we convert it, so that's 3x to the power of negative 2. That means that f dash of x equals, well, 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, x to the power of negative 3, and then we put it in the same format that it came in, negative 6 over x cubed. Alright, the next skill that we're going to look at, or the extension from that, is we get a question like this. F of x equals x to the 4 plus 3x squared minus x all over x to the power of 3. Right, so we have to simplify that into the right format. So first of all, we can do each part by itself. X to the 4 divided by x to the power of 3 is x. 3x squared over x to the power of 3 is going to be 3x to the power of negative 1, because 2 minus 3 is negative 1. And then we have negative x over x cubed, which is minus x to the power of negative 2. Alright, so now when we differentiate it, f dash of x, it's going to be, well, x is going to become 1 plus, well, it's not going to be plus, actually it's going to be minus, because negative 1 times 3 is negative 3, x to the power of negative 2, and then a minus times a minus is a plus, 2x to the power of negative 3. Right, and then we want to convert it back into the format that we got it in. So we've got x to the power of negative 3 is going to be what goes on the bottom. So we're going to get this x cubed minus 3x plus 2 all over x cubed. Right. So that's taking it, putting it back in the same format that we got the question in. Okay. The next type of questions were these that are, and the other type of fairly difficult question that still uses the basic skill is one that looks like this. F of x equals the square root of x. Alright, we'll do actually we don't need to put the 2 there for a square root, just the square root of x. Alright, so again we put it into indices form, or power form. That's the same as x to the power of a half. Right, which means f dash of x equals x to the power of a half. Well, this is going to be a half times x to the power of negative a half. Then we make it into the same format. So that equals 1 over 2 root x Right. Because x to the power of negative half is 1 over the square root of x. Let's look at one of those that's a little bit more difficult. Remember, if you feel I'm going too fast for you, you can always pause it and go back and look at a question again. Alright, f of x is, let's have a look at the cubed root of x to the power of 4. Right, so the first thing that we do is we put that into the right format. X to the power of 4 over 3. So f dash of x equals 4/3 x to the power of 1/3, which equals 4 lots of the cubed root of x all over 3. Okay, let's have a look at 3 questions from that. Okay, the first question, f of x, this is question 1, equals 2 over x cubed. Question 2, f of x equals 4x cubed plus 3x squared plus x all over 2x squared. And question 3, f of x equals the cubed root of x squared negative 2. Alright, all the best. We'll see you tomorrow.